Hello, hello, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. Thank you for joining me this evening. I'm super excited to be here with you all this evening. I'm Coach Kara, and I am one of the Healing While Building ambassadors, and we are kicking off our workshop learning experiences, a safe space of community for all of those who are interested in learning and growing. So we're so glad that you are here joining us this evening. We are going to be crushing diet culture. I'm super excited to share my framework with you all this evening. It's been a passion of mine and a work in progress for a couple of years now, and it's constantly evolving. I just love having the opportunity to make an impact in my clients' lives and bring easy, keep it super simple tools so they can start working towards a healthier lifestyle and healthy change. But what I also love about this framework is that although it is geared in what I do in coaching towards health and wellness, fitness and nutrition, it can be used in any area for development. So you can use it for how you see fit. So without further ado, I like to kind of get started this evening with having you just kind of relax. If you're in a seated position, sit up nice and tall, just relax, let your feet hang down, touch the floor. If they're up, we'll just flat on the floor, hands in your lap or to your side. And I'd like to just start with either you can feel comfortable, you can close your eyes, leave your eyes open, and just notice your breathing. Just want to take a second to kind of reset or get centered. It's been a day. We've had work, we're hump day, and we want to make sure we go into this session just ready to receive. So take a moment and just again relax those shoulders, maybe move them around a little bit, kind of relax your face. Think about relaxing your jawline, noticing your breath. Like, what are you feeling in your body in this moment? How are you feeling after your day, coming home and this evening, joining in with us, which again, we thank you for your time this evening. So I'm going to take you through a series of box breathing. So as you kind of are getting acclimated and getting that rhythm of your breath right now, just kind of where you are, I'm going to take you through a series of box breathing. So what we'll do is we'll do it 3 times. You're going to take a breath in for a 4 count. We're going to hold for a 4 count. We're going to exhale for a 4 count and then hold again. So that's called box breathing. You'll inhale through your nose, inhaling, filling up your lungs with as much air as you can. You'll hold at the top again. You'll release it by exhaling through your mouth and then hold for that last time. Again, 3 times. All right, so let's get started. I'm just going to keep my eyes open and kind of give you the count. We're going to start with our first inhalation in 3, 2, 1. Take a nice deep breath in through your nose, filling up your lungs. 4, 3, 2, 1, and hold for 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. 4, 3, 2, 1, and hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Another deep breath in through your nose. Try to fill up your lungs a little bit more. 4, 3, 2, 1, and hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. 4, 3, 2, 1, and hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. One last time. Nice deep breath in through your nose. Fill up those lungs with as much air. Can you squeeze a little bit more in? 4, 3, 2, 1, and hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale through your mouth. Let it all out. 4, 3, 2, 1, and hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Just relax, shake it out. Notice how your body feels now. That's a simple thing you can do on anytime throughout the day. You're at work, if you just need a reset, definitely take that tool with you and enjoy and feel relaxed and centered. So again, thank you everyone for joining me. Are you ready to crush diet culture? So excited. Thank you, Sonia. I've been working on that. It does really make a difference for sure. So we're going to spend some time just talking about building some sustainable habits, creating those action steps that are simple, that are manageable. Hopefully to this evening, the goal is for you to walk away with at least one habit that you can start working towards even this evening, depending on what that change is going to be. So let's get started. I'm going to share my screen with you all. And then once I get this going, please let me know by dropping a 1 or wellness in the chat, so I know that you can see my screen. All right, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, thank you so much. So crushing diet culture, what is that? First, I'd like you to take a moment and think about what comes to mind when you think of the word diet. Drop it in the chat. If you're journaling, taking notes, write it down, but still drop it in the chat. Want to hear and see what you're thinking or what's coming up for you when you hear the word diet. What is coming up? Drop it in the chat. Drop it in the chat. Not being able to eat all the good junk I love, right? Moderation, moderation. Definitely that's something that comes up for some people for sure. Anybody else? Anything come up when you think about the word diet? Restrictions, healthy eating. Okay, Sonia, I like that. I like that. There's got the positive spin on that. Well, thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. A lot of what comes up for most of my clients are negative, very negative. The word diet has such a negative connotation. It's like someone mentioned, like restrictions, not being able to have the things you enjoy eating, maybe a specific type of diet. I won't mention any, but there are a lot of different ways of dieting out there that people try. So that could be something that people feel like, oh, I don't want to do that. It's so restrictive, or I can't have the things that I enjoy. So definitely brings up a lot of feelings. And I also like to take a deeper dive with my clients and also talk about what are those feelings? Like, where are they coming from? So a lot of times, if you think about it, our food aversions or our relationships with food come from our past experiences, or maybe social media. Maybe growing up, you were in a home where you had to eat all your food before you left the table. Maybe on social media, you see someone saying you should eat XYZ and you'll look just like this, or you'll lose the 30 pounds you've been trying to lose. But as we all know, there's a lot more that goes into just changing one specific thing or following one specific diet. And as we kind of talk through crushing diet culture framework, I hope that you're able to tap into what that is for you. And again, it could apply to many areas of wellness, but specifically we'll be talking about some focusing on some different food and changes in how you're eating to reach those specific goals. So I want to take basically a simple approach by reframing your thoughts around the word diet. So diet looks like this for most people. Like you said, restrictive, it's dark, it's no fun, it's not exciting, it's boring, there's no variety. Like, who wants to diet, right? That's what you think about. But I want to reframe your thoughts and make diet beautiful, make it colorful. If you are familiar with the term diet, it does come from a Greek word, dieta, and that means basically it was just a routine or a lifestyle, a way of life specifically focused on general habits, not just food choices. But now today, the relation is, health, nutrition, or weight management, weight loss to be more specific. So we want to think of that. We want to go back to that old approach, right? It's just a way of life. It's just providing our body something that it needs to function on a daily basis so we can feel good, so we can feel energized. That's what we want to look to do when we're thinking about diet. So the first letter in the word diet, I want you to think about develop. So I'm going to go through the full acronym, and then we'll start to break down those into a step-by-step points as we go through it. So develop, implement, empower, and thrive. Doesn't that sound a little bit more exciting? Doesn't it seem like, oh, I can do that? Who doesn't want to develop? Who doesn't want to implement new things or experience change? I mean, it's the only thing that's constant, right? So we want to make sure that we're implementing things that are going to be good for us so that we can feel good. And then when we're feeling good, we want to feel empowered. And then being empowered helps us to continue to thrive. So as we continue to develop these habits, we're implementing new things, we're empowered, and we're thriving. So that's what we're going to walk through today. Hopefully that sounds good to you because I'm super excited to share. So let's dive into develop. So I want you to identify, gonna go back here, sorry. I want you to identify one habit, one small healthy habit that you would like to focus on. One small healthy habit you would like to focus on. And then, of course, drop it in the chat. Drop it in the chat. One small habit you would like to focus on or develop. Drop it in the chat. So I think a lot of times we think when we are making changes, we have to make a lot of changes to get to that goal. But I always say our goals are huge, right? They're big. Like think about coming into the new year. I've seen the uptick in the gym. I've seen the, I'm going to cut out this and I'm going to do more of that type of deal. And it's always that all or nothing approach. And typically what happens is we feel overwhelmed when we don't succeed because we implemented so many changes at one time. We get frustrated and then we just quit and we're like, I'm just going to go back to what I used to do. Like, what's the point? Like, I'm not seeing any change. I'm not feeling good. I keep failing over and over and over. So thank you for sharing, ladies. Lose weight, eat more veggies, definitely something that's always a good thing, incorporating more fruits and vegetables. So develop. So think about, that's the one habit you want to develop. So I want you to hold on to that. You're going to keep holding on to that one habit you want to develop. So identifying these areas for improvement. Why do we want to do that? Self-reflection, external assessment, and then we want to recognize barriers or challenges that may come up. What's good about the self-reflection? That helps us to kind of take a step back and see overall what specific areas do I need to focus on. And when you're speaking of this one particular habit, what areas have I struggled with in the past that I need to consider focusing on as I'm moving forward, working towards this habit or particular goal. And these external assessments could be, going through the process of the pros and cons, writing down, again, what worked well and what you could do differently. It could be going through a self-assessment with a coach or using a wellness wheel, because when you're thinking about overall like wellness, so maybe your diet changes are something that's going to lead to that overall goal. But if you think about like wellness, it includes stress, it includes sleep, it includes social, physical. So maybe you have this one small habit and maybe it's your sleep that when you're talking about, especially ladies with weight loss and depending on where you are in your change of life with weight loss, sometimes if you're not getting enough sleep, your body is not going to respond to all the changes that you're trying to make. Or if you're changing your nutrition, if you're trying to work out, if you're not getting sleep, your body's not rested, it's not recovering. So it's not functioning at its best to be able to help make those changes. So reflecting on where you truly need to make those changes. Because remember, one habit, you're stacking these habits because the overall big picture is that I want to reach this one big goal. And we want to take those action steps to get there. So the self-reflection, the external assessment, recognizing the barriers, what's going to come up? What have I struggled with that is keep hindering me from reaching this particular goal? So could it be your working hours? How could you see fitting in 10 or 15 minutes? Again, remember, this is not the all or nothing approach. It's not that if I don't have an hour, just throw it out the door. It's like figuring out what's going to work best for you. And that's what I love doing with my clients, is just really meeting them where they are. It's really important to assess where you are, recognize what could come up so that you can be proactive when those things come up. If you know you travel for work, Maybe you need to focus on more on the go options. Maybe you need to learn what are some better choices, how to make those choices when I'm at restaurants. Maybe you need to develop that vulnerability to share with the people around you that, hey, this is what I'm working on right now, and I really need your support. So they're not offering you things, or so they're not kind of giving you that side. I was like, oh, you're doing that again, right? We want to feel supported. So we need to recognize those barriers so that we can make those improvements on that particular habit as we are trying to make those changes. Implement. So thinking about that habit, remember, you're holding on to that habit, all right? So thinking about that habit, what is a specific manageable action step that you can take for that particular habit? A specific manageable action step that you can take for that habit or towards that habit. It doesn't have to be big. Remember, it doesn't have to be big. These small steps, these micro steps are all working towards the same goal. So what step could you take that's manageable towards this habit that you want to change or develop? Drop it in the chat, of course, or write it down so that you can revisit it when we're done. More water. Okay. Anybody else? If you're thinking about eating more vegetables, like just call you out, Mia. If you're thinking about eating more vegetables, good. A meal plan to add more veggies. Exactly. I like that. Thank you. Or if it's losing weight, what's a specific manageable task? If you know that maybe like you're not moving your body enough, then maybe it's incorporating 10 minutes of fitness a day or 10-minute walks a day, or take a stand break every top of the hour. Yes, schedule a drink for water like everyone 16 ounces. Absolutely. I love it. So you guys nailed it. Creating daily strategies, stacking and pairing these habits, using your resources and your networks to implement these changes are going to help us to be successful. The daily strategies are just like you mentioned, I'm going to drink one 16-ounce bottle. Maybe it's break it down into, you could even break it down smaller. So it's like, maybe if you're eating 3 to 5 meals a day, with every meal, I'm going to have 8 ounces of water. Small increments. I'm going to put a bottle of water by my bed, so when I wake up in the morning that it's there, and that's going to be my go-to. So before I have my coffee, my goal is to have 8 to 16 ounces of water. Those are the type of strategies that you can do, and then you're kind of stacking and pairing those. So say maybe you are trying to incorporate more steps, but you have a desk job. Well, how can you stack and pair that? You're going to be at your desk. You're going to set maybe an alarm to stand at the top of the hour, maybe march in place. Make sure you set a move goal. Maybe you set a step goal for the day, and just give yourself a range. I have a lot of clients that say, oh, I want to get 10 to 12,000 steps. And guess what happens? When they don't get the 10 to 12,000 steps, they're like, oh my gosh, this is so challenging. Well, why not give yourself a range? If you know, kind of figure out how many steps you're averaging. And then based off of that, maybe say, I'm going to start off with 5 to 6,000 steps. And then when you start hitting 6,000 steps, I'm going to do 6 to 7,000 steps. Again, it doesn't have to be this big thing. It is all about creating these habits so that you can build consistency, as we'll learn is really important as we work towards these goals. All right, moving on. How's everybody feeling? Check in. Is this good? Do you need more examples? Definitely drop them in the chat if you are, and I'm definitely gonna leave some time for Q&A at the end. So if you have any questions, you can ask them there as well. But definitely want to make sure that I'm addressing the things that are coming up for you all that are here. And then we want to be empowered, right? We want to be empowered. You have the power. You have the power to choose. Every day, you have a chance and a choice. So you can wake up and decide, how is this going to play out for me? If you've committed for the month that I'm going to do 10 minutes of walking 3 days a week, then choose and stick to that. Create the discipline. Consistency creates the discipline. You want to build the habit, right? So you want to make sure that you are empowering yourself by choosing that. And at the end of the day, you're choosing you. This habit is to make you better, to help you develop, and whether it's that habit, if it's losing weight, if is the goal, if it's eating more vegetables is the goal, maybe maybe you have like a high cholesterol, or maybe your A1C is high or something of that nature. So you need to make some small changes to reduce that. Well, then that's on you. The power is in you. You have the power to choose. So I would say, what's one thing that might support your success when you're thinking about how you're going to work towards this habit or goal? Think about one thing that's going to support your success. Write it down, drop it in the chat. So you're going to be empowered by creating non-negotiables, being accountable to yourself, empowering yourself by making a choice, by choosing you, and embrace flexibility. That's what being empowered is about. We can create a plan, and that's great, right? A plan creates structure. It helps us develop discipline. It helps us to stay on task. But what happens if that plan changes? How are we going to pivot? So embracing flexibility and showing ourselves some grace is really key. It's, again, I go back to, it's not that all or nothing approach. It's just, where am I? What do I need in this moment? How am I showing up for myself? Like truly taking that self accountability. And then when we're referring to the non-negotiables, it's if you've committed to going to, let's just say, Pilates class 2 nights a week, and then on Saturdays I'm doing a walk with maybe your workout buddy or somebody, your accountability buddy, then stick to that. That's a non-negotiable. Unless you're like married, kids, and like some kind of emergency comes up, then you should be sticking to that. If your girlfriend say, "Hey girl, we're going to, get some cocktails, we're going to happy hour," and if that's like, we're going at 5 o'clock, but you go to Pilates 5 o'clock after work, you need to go to Pilates. And then you need to meet your friends. So it's not to say that you're not going to be able to enjoy that, but you've got to hold yourself accountable, set those non-negotiables. And then if you are telling your friends and being vulnerable and sharing with your community, with the people around you, your support circle, they're going to want to encourage you to do it. And how about, why not invite them to go to Pilates? And then y'all go to the happy hour. I know it makes sense, like Pilates and happy hour. But the point is that you want to create the discipline. You want to continue to build the habit. You want to have consistency. All right. That is the goal. That is the goal. All right. And last but not least, who doesn't want to thrive? I know I do. I feel like I'm thriving every day nowadays, y'all. Busy as I don't know what, but I'm thriving. So the goal, again, is to build that consistency. When you're feeling empowered and you're consistent and you've created the discipline, you're thriving. And then you know that it works. So you may have to go back to the develop, right? That's okay. You may have to revisit develop. You may have to pick something else. Remember, you have a list. Right now, you just prioritize what's that one habit you want to work on. Now you want to make sure that you are building upon that. And when you're building upon it, because you know how you feel empowered, you're making these choices for yourself, holding yourself accountable, and then you're thriving. So what does that look like? Thriving looks like sustainable practices, seeking fulfillment, evolve, because you're always going to be learning and adjusting. It's just what it is. I wish it could, sometimes stay the same, but it just doesn't. Like, even just in us as females, like, we're pivoting and changing through different stages of our life. We go through so many changes, and men do too. So I digress, but they do. However, we've got to learn and adjust, do our research, set ourselves up for success, make it a lifestyle. Because when it becomes a lifestyle, when that non-negotiable sets in, you're thriving. It becomes habitual. So you've created the habit, right? And that is the goal. So make it a lifestyle, show yourself some grace, always know that you're going to always be learning and adjusting as you grow and continue to build these habits, as you stack and pair these habits to be the healthier version of yourself, to hold yourself accountable, to be, thriving. You are always going to be making adjustments. I wish I could say it different, but it's just full transparency, full vulnerability. That's what it is. But you can make it a lifestyle and you can learn how to adjust so with it, when those things show up, you can continue to thrive. So, are you ready to crush diet culture? I hope you are. Thank you so much for allowing me to share my framework. It was just a little sneak peek of it. I do a full workshop where we actually do some mapping of whether it's your food or specific habits and really breaking those down, really understanding the why, and just again, really meeting my clients where they are. And again, that's exactly why I created the Crushing Diet Culture, to help you reframe your thoughts about how you eat and build sustainable habits. And I would like to just show, these are some things that my clients are saying about me, thanking, me for getting them, you know, over the scale, like that whole mindset of like the scale is bad type of thing, getting into clothes that make them feel good. Again, tracking their stats, just give that again, that accountability. And then also doing things in corporate fitness, like building programs, walking programs, helping ambassadors set up so they can create an environment that is positive and healthy and focuses on health and wellness in a corporate setting. These are some client transformations here. And if you're ready to make a change with your habits, I always have an opportunity for you, for sure. Would love for you to join me or for a chat, or in one of my challenges as well. And of course, always will be here showing up to help you learn and grow as a healing while building ambassador. And I will take any questions. Any questions? Don't be shy. All right, no questions today. Well, hopefully, if anything, you have some takeaways. Healthy habits begin with small changes, and you have the power to make these changes by developing, implementing, empowering, and thriving. Thank you so much for joining me. Hope to see you again here soon. Bye.